Hello everyone, I'm Krasi Attasio, and this is my week for the 12 Ascendants analysis. Just to tell you that under this video you will find the timestamps for every ascendant. So I will start my brief overview of what is the situation on the sky, what to expect from this week, and after that you will hear my brief analysis of each of the 12 ascendants. So what is happening this week on the sky? The good news is that we have already Saturn direct, and this is a big relief for the people who have Sagittarius ascendant, and I'm talking about sidereal coordinates. So if you have Sagittarius ascendant, Sagittarius midheaven, Sagittarius descendant, Sagittarius moon, Sagittarius sun, for sure you are experiencing the heavy influences of Saturn, especially while he was retrograde and also stationary for few days. So luckily Saturn is already direct, which doesn't mean that he is easy. Saturn is never easy, but at least the things that you were planning, your deeds, your routine, the things will be moving a little bit faster and your difficulties will start slowly solving. Of course, all this depends on the personal horoscopes of each one of us. Now, also, interestingly, we're having interesting conjunction of many planets in sidereal Virgo. So this week, Mars is invisible, still invisible. Look at my separate videos on the nature of Mars when invisible, also on the nature of Saturn when direct. I made detailed analysis. So Mars is entering Virgo and Mars is invisible. Mars is actually peregrine, which means that he doesn't have any particular dignities in Virgo. Mars is meeting the Sun, Venus, and Mercury in Virgo. From the fiery sign of Leo, Mars is entering the balanced, earthy, knowledge-based sign of Virgo. And yes, this is not exactly the environment which is the most appropriate for Mars, but still we need to take into consideration that he's changing his nature when entering in Virgo. And in Virgo, he may indeed, especially if people have a Virgo ascendant, Virgo midheaven, Pisces ascendant, midheaven, moon. If you have Virgo on an important position in your horoscope, keep in mind that this can work on your mind, on your decision-making process, on your emotional balance, because Mars can be very unpredictable. He is not bad. He can be very strategic when invisible, but still in the sign of Virgo, he is kind of exchanging natures with Mercury, not only because he's making conjunction with Mercury by sign, but because he's in the sign of Mercury. So he can work on our mental state, making us be impulsive, take decisions faster. So this is good to take into consideration. So we're having 4 planets this week: Mars, the Sun, Venus, and Mercury, which are receiving, actually actively squaring Saturn. I don't see this as a heavy aspect on the sky. Even the other way around, it is any aspect from Venus to Saturn is softening his influences because Saturn loves Venus. So I don't see this as a bad thing, but it is indeed complex. Because all that is happening in Virgo will have impact on communication, on knowledge, on media work, on travel. So because Saturn is involved and Mars is involved, both are involved, we need to be cautious how we communicate, how we convey our message, how we travel, how we prepare when traveling. Again, this is not a bad thing, this square, but it shows some activity, some tension related to communication, to commerce, and this will certainly have impact on the markets, and then we'll start moving again, and this will be influencing in a positive direction. So yes, all the 4 planets, Mars, Venus, the Sun, and Mercury, are also making harmonious aspect to Jupiter, and this is also very positive. But the most important thing is the aspect to Saturn. Everything is important, but interesting is the aspect to Saturn, which would say that we need to be indeed very well prepared, organized, balanced when we communicate, when we convey our knowledge, message, when we do media work, when we study. This can be very good in a way of structuring our mind, but once again, depends how this is on the personal chart of each one of us. However, keep in mind that this interesting aspect is taking place on the sky, and if you need to communicate, to negotiate on this particular day, a week, you need to do it after very good preparation, very good calculation of the possible results, planning, because this is all what Saturn means. For traveling as well, preparation, just good preparation work, and use your intuition. I know that I often repeat this, but it makes sense, I think. So this is the most important thing. And of course, Pluto is stationary. Pluto is stationary also before becoming direct, and so we need to be patient 2-3 more days, and we will be relieved also from the heavy influences of Pluto, because together with Saturn, both retro, both stationary, this was a bit of challenging period, but I will make a separate video on Pluto. So this was my overview on what is happening on the sky. Let's start now with the 12 ascendants, and I'm starting with Aries. And as I said, the timestamps are under this video so that you'll make use of them. All right, so Aries ascendant, your ascendant ruler is still invisible, which would mean that Mars is still possibly creating those yes, he can make you still impulsive, make you make take impulsive decisions. Mars is also now entering your 6th house, where he is joining the Sun, Venus, and Mercury, and this will bring some activity into your routine work, into your communication with colleagues, subordinates. Stay away from conflicts and take good care of your health this week and the next. Now, in terms of knowledge, in terms of studies, the week is quite interesting and productive when you desire to complete studies. So in this sense, the week can be really very productive and will bring very good results. So I said about health, you may communicate carefully because of Mars and Mercury together. And as I said, health is important, and your communication with subordinates. Otherwise, in terms of relationship as well, you're not very much supported, because all important planets are conjoined on your 6th house. So it will be, the emphasis will be a lot on the routine work, on your everyday job. So there will be the emphasis, and there is where you should be a bit careful and intuitive. Also patient with your beloved ones. All right, so let's see now Ascendant Taurus. For Ascendant Taurus, now your Ascendant ruler is trining your Ascendant from your 5th house, very lucky position about love, about communication with children, about knowledge, the creative activities, about joy, about pleasure, love. So all planets are Mars, the Sun, Mercury, Venus are concentrated there. This is very nice. This can create lucky opportunities in terms of finances and luck in general. So this is good. In terms of private, romantic relationship, I also see the week as passionate, romantic, and supported from heaven. So this is also very important. You may be interested in esoteric studies, into secret studies. Financially, you may need, you will have lucky opportunities, as we said, but you also may need to do some additional efforts, even though now Saturn is not such an obstacle anymore for you. You may travel and you may negotiate. Okay, this was about Taurus. Let's see now, Gemini. Also for you, the week is better because Saturn, Gemini ascendant, because Saturn is direct, because Pluto any moment will become direct after being retrograde for such a long time. You are supported from the planets, the planetary conjunction of the Sun, Venus, Mercury on your 4th house. This way, a lot will be happening at home, but on the other hand, your career is supported. So I see the week as better, and already relief is coming because now Saturn is direct, and soon, only in January, he will be leaving your descendant. So just have a bit more patience. Your health is supported. Just these 2-3 days when Pluto is stationary, be a bit patient. Now you have support from your subordinates, so the week looks better than the weeks before. You may travel, you may do communication work, you may not do new beginnings this week. So and use your intuition, and yes, in general, take good care of your health up until Saturn moves away from your descendant. All right. Cancer ascendant. For you, a lot is happening, concentration of energies on your 3rd house, communication, travel, siblings. So it will be indeed about communication. You may have a lot to do with business abroad, studies, sharing your knowledge, spirituality, spiritual awareness, spiritual studies. So a lot is happening there. Therefore, this week, indeed, you may have openings in relation to those life areas like travel abroad, spirituality, communication. So this is all possible, but still also a lot is happening on your 6th house. Therefore, be a bit, while you're busy with communicating and travel, don't forget to be cautious with subordinates and to be responsible for your health. Children, fine. Luck, the luck is also on your side. Just be responsible for your health and be cautious with subordinates this week. So this was about a Cancer rising. Now let's see Leo. Now for you, this week, Mars is leaving your ascendant. Mars was for approximately a month on your ascendant, invisible. Most probably you felt this. Most probably you felt some tension. Well, now this week he's leaving you, and you have concentration, which is fine because he would put you a bit in risks if you want, but now and would make you a bit too impulsive. But now Mars is moving away, he's entering your 2nd house where he's meeting Venus, Mercury, and the Sun. And in your 2nd house, this will be important for your finances in a positive way, because also, luckily, Saturn becomes direct on your 5th house. So in this sense, I see this week as luckier than the 2-3 weeks before. Still, be attentive and cautious when it comes to children. Otherwise, your home and your work are supported by heaven. So I don't see it as problematic as probably it was the communication with superiors. This week, the things are getting better, and if there was a tension, of course, all depends on the personal horoscopes, but if there was a tension, now there is kind of relief. So also in terms of relationship, romantic relationship, the week is better for you. So new beginnings are not really appropriate, but you can communicate, you can travel, you will be luckier this week. All right, now let's see Virgo rising. The concentration of energies for you is interesting. It's happening on your ascendant. You have Mercury, you have Venus, you have the Sun, you have Mars. They all are on your ascendant. Very interesting. Most probably a lot will happen for you, especially if you have Virgo ascendant, even if your moon is in Virgo. a lot will be happening for you. Maybe you have a lot of ideas, you have plans, you would be very active. However, keep in mind that Saturn is there to square, to put some boundaries on what you're doing. That would say that you need to double think, to plan, to structure, to schedule. Just do the Saturnian way, all that is crossing your mind. Like, plan really the things very well. Otherwise, this concentration of energy on your ascendant is absolutely not bad. This can create opportunity for you to travel, to have communication with business related to communication, trade. Financially, this will also be better. In terms of spirituality, the week can also be very interesting. Knowledge you may decide to study or to start new studies. This will be very nice and very, very interesting. So the week is interesting indeed. Still, Saturn is on your 4th house. So be cautious. Don't forget, while you're busy with what is happening on your ascendant, all these planetary energies, don't forget to be cautious with superiors, because this can result in tension at home, both way. Also be cautious and patient at home. Otherwise, communication, travel, it's on your side. The sky is supportive on your side. Also, health-wise, the week looks fine to me. Okay, this was Virgo ascendant. Now let's see Libra ascendant. Now for you, this interesting concentration of energies of the planets which are conjoining Mars, the Sun, Venus, and Mercury. All this is happening on your 12th house. It is, of course, not bad, but it's kind of isolated. It's not impacting you so much, like to result in financial opportunities, but it can result in interesting spiritual opportunities, knowledge-based opportunities, or can give you interesting opportunities in relation to social work, taking care of others. Because this is what the 12th house is about. It's about isolation, things which are not obvious, things which are happening while we are sleeping. So there are the activities for you this week. Yes, which is not bad, because this can bring you knowledge and esoteric and spiritual insights that you wanted probably to receive before. Financially, the week will not be bad with direct Jupiter on your 2nd house, who receives the harmonious aspect from the planetary conjunction in your 12th house. The week is fine for travel and communication, but not so much supported. So it's not the most appropriate week for you to communicate, to travel, and to start new initiatives. But it's very good for knowledge and for the activities which I listed. Health-wise, I also think that the week is okay. So also, in terms of arts, artistic work, craft work, also the week can be very, very supportive. All right, this was for Libra ascendant. Let's see Scorpio. Your ascendant ruler for Scorpio is entering soon your 11th house, where all these planetary energies are mixing up. Like you have Mars invisible, again, very surprising, impulsive. You don't know what he can bring. The Sun, Venus, Mercury, all they are meeting on your 11th house, and Jupiter is direct on your ascendant. This is very good. Opportunities, plans, activities in your social life, a lot will be happening, most probably. You may meet friends, you may desire to do social activities, you may have new plans. Financially, the week looks better for you. You may travel, you may communicate, you may do trade work. New beginnings, not, because the moon is not really very, very appropriate for that. In terms of speech, always be a little bit careful and very well structured, but health-wise, plan-wise, financial-wise, romance-wise, the week is not bad for you at all. Okay, now this was Scorpio ascendant. Now let's see Sagittarius. For you, the week is also interesting. Actually, this week is for everyone kind of, yeah, there is some movement. Now, Sagittarius Ascendant. You will still have this week Pluto stationary on your ascendant before becoming direct, but luckily Saturn is already direct. So after a couple of days, Pluto is becoming direct, and you will feel better. Not yet completely, it's not the complete relief, but you will feel completely relieved in January. Now, interestingly, Mars, the Sun, Venus, Mercury are all on your 10th house. And this, of course, will result in activities in relation to your career, to your plans, achievements. So this is absolutely not bad. Just be sure to be very structured when you communicate with superiors, and whatever is happening at work, if you want to have good results and achievements, really structure everything, make good planning, exactly time-oriented structure, exactly what Saturn means. This is very important because you are having all those planets on your 10th house, which is related to your career, but still Saturn is on your ascendant. He's putting his limitations and boundaries, and he's important. He's limiting to a degree the plans that you may have at work. Therefore, to benefit from the powerful Saturnian energies, but also from the powerful conjunction happening on your 10th house, structure and good organization is the right approach and the right word. Otherwise, a lot will be happening and totally not bad. The week looks good for you. Also, health-wise, I see the week as good. A lot of activities will be happening, movements and all related, most probably to work. Of course, depends on your personal horoscopes, but yes, quite a lot is happening in relation to work, studies, maybe sharing knowledge. This week you may travel, but new initiatives are not really very appropriate. Okay, this is Sagittarius Ascendant. Let's see Capricorn Ascendant. Yes, your ascendant ruler Saturn is on your 12th house, but direct, which is fine, which is better, like things slowly are starting to move. And for you, interestingly, the planetary conjunction is happening on your 9th house, about knowledge, communication abroad, spiritual activities, sharing knowledge, starting new business, starting new studies or education. Business to start, it's not appropriate. It would have been maybe if the moon had another position, and if the planetary conjunction on your 9th house was not receiving the Saturn in this harmonious aspect. So that's why I'm saying you may do a lot, you may communicate with people abroad, you may start new studies, or do a lot of study works. You can teach people, you can travel, you can communicate, but yes, important new beginnings are not really very appropriate. I'm saying starting studies because of the phases of Mercury and Venus, but still be cautious. Saturn is squaring. So every communication that you do or travel, be sure that you're very well prepared. In terms of health, the week is better also for you, financially as well. So you may travel and you may negotiate. Now let's see Aquarius rising. Now for you, your ascendant ruler Saturn is already direct on your 11th house, better for your plans, better for communication with children. Still, this week, be attentive, be cautious with children. Still, you have support at work with your superiors. Also, depends on your chart, but some surprising incomes are also possible, or incomes that may arrive via your partner. So this is also very positive. Health-wise, the week is okay. Communication and travel-wise, the week is okay, but not in particular, like not the results may not be extraordinary. So the week is not so special in this regard, because even though you're having the planetary conjunction of Venus, Mercury, the Sun, Mars, in Virgo, this is happening on your 8th house, and thus this is not influencing you directly. Maybe it's influencing more your partner, so could be that your incomes or the positive news are coming via your partner, so this is also very good. Health-wise, the week is okay. So this was about Aquarius. Let's see now Pisces ascendant. Now for you, luckily on your 10th house, Saturn and is direct, Pluto is stationary but will become direct, so just have a few days more patience. Interestingly, the Mars, the Sun, Venus, Mercury are all meeting on your 7th house. Important for your private relationship, for your romantic life, important for all relationships that you have, even financial or all kinds of relationships. So there could be some movement. This week you may communicate, you may negotiate, you may travel. Even very interesting events in this regard may accompany your routine life. In terms of career also, the week looks a bit better. But I mentioned this also to other ascendants, but also to you, it is important that you plan your activities very well because of the Saturn influences, like really structure, plan, schedule all your activities. If you desire to travel, it's okay. If you desire to negotiate, it's okay. Just make sure that you're planning everything very, very well, because such are the influences of Saturn. Communication abroad, travel abroad, all this is very possible and supported. Health-wise, the week is good for you. Just have a bit of patience while Pluto becomes also direct, and in general, be responsible for your health because you're still having Saturn and Pluto and Ketu on your 10th house. And be cautious. Have in mind not to forget to be awake, alert, and cautious when it comes to communication and relationship with superiors. But yes, the week can be okay, better financially, with many opportunities for you, which may come through relationships, through partnerships. So this was my week of the 12 ascendants overview. I'm Krasi, and this is sidereal analysis. And if you have questions or comments, you're very welcome to share them.